everybody, and welcome back to another episode looking at D365 Business Central. So, my name is Guillaume Rocher. I'm a business analyst with Groupe Azur, and as always, I'm joined with our business expert and business savvy, Taruna.
Hi everyone, Taruna here. So I am the SMB Business Application Lead at Microsoft Canada, and I'm here to just work with Groupe Azur in walking you through the pros of Business Central for your business.
If you've missed a couple of the first episode of our series, make sure you click on the link in the description box below and you'll be able to see the whole journey of ProBark and all the different business areas we discussed. So the last episode, if you haven't seen it, was about accounting and finance. So if that's something that's important to you, make sure you go check it out. But today we're going to be looking at something different, the CEO and CTO.
So exactly, today we're going to be talking about Emily, who's the CEO at ProBark, as well as Henry, their CTO. And basically, compared to the other episodes, we're not going to go into the technical details of Business Central, but instead, Emily and Henry will be having a conversation around how Business Central has changed their business in the past 1 year of being implemented. And so if you have any questions around what it looks like to have Business Central in your company and the impact that it's made, we're going to basically be walking you through how ProBark has evolved in this past year.
So Henry here in his retrospective 1 year look is looking specifically at all the security benefits that he's gotten from moving his company to Business Central. So one of the most important things is having an up-to-date cybersecurity infrastructure. Well, the benefits of being on the Azure cloud is that you benefit from Microsoft's cybersecurity infrastructure. And Microsoft is one of the most attacked companies in the world every day. Their defenses are rock solid, up to date constantly. And so Henry gets to benefit from all of that security. Additionally, of course, Business Central allows you to be very comfortable and flexible when it comes to your own internal security management. So in terms of user roles, permissions, privileges, all of that, you get to do exactly what you want in your own security rules. And of course, as every system should have, some very robust auditing rules so you know exactly what happened in your system, whether that be from the admins or the users. And overall, that's just some really great features that Henry benefits from being on Microsoft Dynamics 365.
I totally agree with the security aspect. And as you've mentioned, especially now that everything is a little bit more remote, cybersecurity is a big topic for a lot of different SMBs that don't necessarily had a strategy going into this remote workplace and or are thinking about evolving their strategy. And so, as Guillaume, you've mentioned, Microsoft is probably the most attacked company out there. With I believe in 2019 we said that there were 13 billion attacks in that year, and attacks that were blocked, of course. But you can only imagine how big that number must be now in 2021. And so, what's important when you choose a cloud vendor is that you actually benefit from a lot of the cybersecurity that's already in place for that application. And so you can then focus your business on other things that are more important to you. So for Henry, at least he has peace of mind around security, and then and knows that they can rely on Microsoft to keep updating their applications and innovating on that front. So Henry is also actually curious about performance and how that has evolved in the past year. And for him, what was important to understand is how much time was actually saved by implementing Business Central. And now, obviously, this kind of varies from business to business. For ProBark, that number probably won't mean much to you, but what it means for their employees and for ProBark's employees specifically is that they actually were able to cut down on a lot of manual tasks and redundant tasks in which, because they were using multiple different systems, they had to copy paste from one system to the other, which obviously comes with a human error risk associated to that. And so by basically modernizing all of their systems and ensuring that they are all working off of this one application and keeping their data current in there, they're not only able to save time, but they're also able to get real-time insights as well, which is something that's quite extremely important for CTOs and CEOs and other leadership members of any company, is to be able to act on data that's pretty much real time. So by choosing a cloud SaaS application, you get that benefit, of course. Um, Microsoft has also conducted research with the Nucleus research firm, and to understand what's the return on investment. So when you invest in Microsoft Dynamics, what does that actually give you in return? And so they were able to quantify that number. So for every $1 spent, you can expect a ROI of $16.97, which is actually twice higher than the average for both an enterprise resource planning system, so an ERP system, as well as a CRM system, so customer relationship management system, which on average delivers $7.23 and $8.71 respectively. So you can see here that the ROI for choosing for choosing Microsoft Dynamics are quite high here, and it's been proven through this research, which we'll also link down below so that you can look into it a little bit more. So for Henry as the CTO, what's really important is that there's a huge performance increase in the past year with Business Central, and of course employee engagement also is better here. So something to consider as well when you're choosing your next business management solution platform is it actually delivering what your business needs?
Taruna, those are some impressive ROI numbers. And when we think about, being twice as efficient as the average CRM or ERP, we're wondering how much productivity can you get from this system? And I think one of the main manifestations of this efficiency is going to go through the integration to other business tools, right? So we're talking here, of course, with the Office suite. So a lot of companies use Excel, Microsoft PowerPoint, or Microsoft Word, and all of these, of course, are built into the system so you can use them while you work. So with a seamless integration, it's great for all your workers on those platforms, on all those softwares, but also the Power Platform. So the Power Platform, such an amazing tool composed of many components, whether that's Power BI, Power Automate, or Power Virtual Agent. It gives you this flexibility to automate your processes from notifications. Maybe you want to make a social media sentiment scanner because that's important to your business. Maybe you just want to add a chat box with virtual agent and make sure that when a customer comes to your website, they can have all their questions answered, potentially get their order, and have that creating either an opportunity or some other internal object for your sales team or your customer service team. So all these possibilities are there with the integrations that Dynamics 365 offers. And I just think that that's such an amazing addition to have access to a Power Platform.
Yeah, and exactly, just to double click on Power Platform. So this is kind of our low code, no code applications. And so there's a suite of apps that you can leverage in here. Guillaume kind of mentioned a few of them, but of course, I think we've all come to a time where we need to reimagine your business, and you need to understand how you can do that through some low code applications, or even through just a new ERP CRM application. But if you're looking into just optimizing some of your processes that you may have that are quite manual right now, or that are paper-based, and obviously paper-based processes are probably not the way you want to keep going, and or you just want to understand how you can better leverage some of these tools. I invite you to go into our Reimagine Your Business website, and so we'll have the link down below. But just it'll be interesting to understand how AI infused applications can really help you rethink and reshape the way that you're currently doing, or that you're currently running your business. I believe actually Cobezo actually had access to one of our technical Power Platform architects, Nelson Lopez, and so they did a really interesting webinar that will also kind of link, so that you can watch and you can just better understand what the art of the possible with Power Platform.
And of course, our 1 year retrospective wouldn't be complete without a brief mention of everything that's been affecting us with this pandemic. Of course, accessibility remains a very important issue. So make sure you equip your company with the means to work efficiently from anywhere. So of course, Dynamics applications, they're available on your mobile, on your desktop, they're available on your tablet. They're always available for you to work remotely, and you can configure safe security protocols so you can log in without those security risks. So definitely something to rely on. And speaking of relying on, you can definitely rely on the uptime of just the Azure cloud. It's got a environment uptime of 99.99%. So virtually all the time, 24/7, which is going to be, most importantly, much better performing than your usual, inside your business servers or IT infrastructure that's going to have much more downtime than that.
And so now we're switching gears and looking at it from a CEO perspective. So Probark's CEO Emily is mainly concerned and or interested in four KPIs. And so this can obviously differ from business to business, but Emily wanted to make sure that she understands what customer satisfaction looks like. How is client acquisition going, especially now that we're in a more hybrid or remote workplace? How has their team strategy evolved, and is it working? Also, how are they optimizing their operations? So operational efficiency is a big one, and she's capturing that through cost of goods sales. And then just overall productivity of her team. So has that increased or decreased? And so there's a lot of kind of sentiment around that. But of course, there's a lot of data that you're generating as a company, and so it's important to base yourself out of the data as opposed to just a sentiment that you may be hearing or feedback that you may be hearing from one stream and not understanding the totality of what's happening in your company. And so getting access to that data is obviously quite important. And so surrounding that data by some intelligent systems like Business Central, Dynamics, will make sure that as the CEO, you're able to get that information. And you're able to get that information in real time. And so I mentioned that kind of being one of the pros of Henry as a CTO is that he has access to performance data in real time. And that's also something that's really important for any leadership member is that they're able to quickly action on the data. And in order to do that, we need to ensure that we're surrounding your data by intelligent software. And so I mean, we've talked about examples of how Business Central specifically can help in these instances, but for instance, customer satisfaction. So, how do you retain and engage your customers? There is a built-in CRM component to it. It's great out of the box. If you want to extend it with Dynamics for Sales, you can do that as well. But customer satisfaction is an important one because retaining your existing foundation and your existing customers is a big one for your growth requirements and for your growth goals. And so, how you can do that is just by ensuring that you're staying connected and engaging with your customers, that you're providing them with an answer in a timely manner, that you have updated answers and information that's going to help kind of close the deal quicker and sooner rather than later. And so this is all possible when you surround data with an intelligent software like Business Central. And so this will kind of help you ensure that you have access and that your agents, your customer service agents have access to that data, your sales, your marketing folks have access to that data. And it's quite important to get to that customer satisfaction level that you may wish. Similar for cost of goods sold, like how do we decrease expenditure? How do we decrease the wastage that's maybe generated through manufacturing and all of that? And so for Emily, these were four KPIs that were quite important and that were quite satisfied in terms of being able to track through Business Central in the past year of implementing it.
Yeah, and it's crazy how all the things you mentioned are so intrinsically, tied into having the visibility and the access to the data, really breaking down the silos, just allowing you to see all that information, make the best decisions. Are you retaining your customer? Are your manufacturing processes efficient? How can you improve them? It's really incredible how the tech really meshes with all this decision making that Emily's doing.
Yeah, I think you hit on something really interesting there, breaking down siloed data. That is key. That is number one. So even if you were not to invest in a new application just yet, it's really important that you understand that your data right now is most likely stuck in one application. And so if you want to create efficiencies in your processes and efficiencies in the way that you do business, you're going to need to find a way to break those silos. And obviously, thinking about a new ERP system is one way to do it, but also through Power Platform, which we mentioned earlier, you're able to at least connect some of these siloed data so that you can help automate some processes that you may have, reduce some redundant work and redundant data as well that you may have, and then just truly start optimizing the way that you're doing business so that you can start meeting the goals that you need for your business. And obviously, the intention for all of this is to grow your revenue and to grow your business through these different KPIs. So breaking down siloed data is number one for sure.
And of course, another aspect and concern about CEOs should be cost savings. We can always increase profitability, and a big part of that is going to be cost savings. So, of course, all these efficiency gains that we get from having this cloud ERP CRM is going to show itself in a cost savings methods. So a lot of these can be, for example, having less wasted material, as you mentioned, Taruna, in your manufacturing processes. Maybe you reduce waste. Maybe your production time is more efficient because pieces on your assembly line spend less idle time. You remember how we talked about bills of materials and routings back in, I think, episode 3 in the operations section. Well, having less idle time is going to increase production, right? Same thing for maybe automating some processes with Power Automate, how we mentioned. Maybe it's internal approvals that can go faster thanks to Power Automate. Maybe it's employee efficiency gains because now they're able to work from home or access their phone and work remotely. For example, your sales crew on the go can access via the mobile application. So all these methods are going to be cost saving methods that at the end of the day are going to mean more money inside your company's pockets that you can invest to even further your growth, to more marketing initiatives, launch a new product, start a new workshop, a new center, maybe a new warehouse in another area. All this capital that you get can be used to further grow your business. And I think that's something that's amazing, not only increasing your profits from more sales activities, but also just reducing your costs. It's always a good way to make some extra money.
So you're absolutely right, Guillaume. Obviously, decreasing cost will increase profitability. Another way of doing that is actually increasing your revenue. And so we touched on what was important for Emily, which was customer satisfaction, which is quite an important index when you're considering customer retention and customer growth. And so it's important to obviously be able to meet the customer satisfaction demand, and also just realize how a lot of the expectations from your customers are coming from their interactions with other brands and other companies. And so these are the same people that are probably ordering a lot of their retail needs now online, and they're expecting a certain type of interaction. And so you as a business, you need to understand that these are the same types of people that are demanding retailers to deliver within 2 days and or be able to provide an update on or a status update on their order pretty instantly, being able to communicate with the brand and with the company through different channels, whether it's social channels or text messaging or email. And so because of that, there's a need now for a lot of businesses like Probark to evolve their customer service strategy. And of course, by doing so, they've effectively seen an increase in their customer retention, and they were able to also acquire new customers, which is really important as well. So through Business Central, which is an all-in-one application system, they made kind of the right investments, and they were able to leverage this, but also extend it. So because they wanted to reinvent because they wanted to reinvent the way that they would do customer service and respond to their customers, they actually just added in Dynamics 365 for customer service because they wanted to create a bit more of a detailed process for sales. They were able to extend Business Central with Dynamics 365 for sales. And so you really want to, when you're looking into choosing a cloud vendor, you want to understand what are the features out of the box, and if that actually meets your needs today. But you also want to choose a vendor that's able to adapt and be agile and grow with your business, because your business will grow. That's what we hope and that's what we aspire, is to grow your business. And so just be mindful when you're looking into selecting a new cloud vendor, that you keep all of this in mind. Flexibility is a huge one, and in the past year, obviously with COVID and all of the changes that have been happening, we've seen how businesses needed to adapt and reimagine the way that they go to market. So make sure that your software and your technology is supporting your growth aspirations. So for Emily here, basically increasing her sales through customer satisfaction, through new client acquisition, also while also decreasing cost, helped her and ProBrock overall increase their profitability. So things to keep in mind.
Absolutely. And so, if you, just like Emily and Henry, you're interested in accessing those benefits, accessing that growth, that new revenue, that decrease of costs, and increase your profits, as you just mentioned, Taruna, then you should look into maybe what's the next step for you. Do you want to look at a new CRM, a new ERP, a new all-in-one application like Business Central? Well, if the next step seems a bit confusing to you, you're not sure where to start, come talk to us. We'll help you take those first steps into your digital transformation. And we're here offering 1 to 3 hours of free consultation with our experts to help you find what's the right next step for you and your business. So, of course, you can find the link in the description below. And just reach out, make sure that you understand exactly what you want to achieve, and we'll be there to guide you through every step.
And so this is pretty much a wrap, not only for this episode, but also for this first version of the series. And so let us know what you thought. Let us know if you learned anything new or cool, or if we missed something that you really wanted us to touch upon. And so once again, the intention of this series was to walk you through the day in the life of employees throughout ProBark. And not necessarily go into the nitty gritty of every single feature in Business Central, but obviously that is a possibility. And so if you want to see that more type of content that's around the different features of Business Central, just let us know. We'll ensure to put something up for you. And of course, Guillaume just walked you through this amazing offer, so take advantage of it. And obviously subscribe to the channel so that you can be updated on any other types of episode that we'll be releasing. And of course, just stay connected. So it was a pleasure meeting you virtually throughout these series, but I'm sure that our paths are going to keep crossing. So until we meet again, thank you very much for this opportunity. And I look forward to kind of our next collab.
Of course, and Taruna, the pleasure is shared. Likewise, it's been an absolute blast recording these videos. Like you mentioned, our paths will cross again for sure. So for every viewer here, look forward to our next video and subscribe. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.